Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner. This is episode number 190, Austin Powers, International Man of Intrigue. And it is our fourth season opener officially tonight. With me to discuss this show from movie from 1997, which is a flashback to 1967. Then flashes ahead to 1997, is the one and only, my friend, my co-host, Mr. Ross Amico. Ross, welcome.
Hi, Roy. Happy fourth season.
Yeah, baby.
Is it International Man of Intrigue or International Man of Mystery? Is it Intrigue?
It's actually a mystery.
It's a mystery. Okay.
It really is.
Okay.
We're making things up, Ross.
It just occurred to me as you just said it. So sorry about that.
Yeah, we're getting creative.
Yeah, and there it is at the bar across the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Enshrined for posterity. Yeah.
Just to reinforce
your mistake.
Yeah. My mistake. Thank you, Ross. Thanks for putting the stamp on that.
Stomping your fourth season buzz. Yeah.
Oh shoot. I kept wanting to call this movie that, and then he even says it too. He goes, how can I be a man of international mystery? And I can hear Vince Fodi going, Roy Belquist mashing impressionist. Anyway, how are you, Ross? How's it going?
Am I supposed to speak the truth, or is this like, are we on?
You are supposed to lie through your Austin Powers teeth.
I'm doing
Ross.
great. I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time. Happy to be here.
Ooh, Spock.
Do we have anybody out there?
We did.
At this point. At this point.
You took care of that, Ross.
Yeah. Well, let the carnival of crime begin.
We're just having too much fun. Hey, I see Jeff Rubel is joining us out there. Hey, Jeff, thanks for joining us. Jeff is joining us from actually Utah out west, and Liz is out there, and Liz is joining us from the UK. Devoted Liz, who stays up in the wee hours of the morning to watch the show. Liz, we love you for that, and thank you. And I see Lou is joining us from Rhode Island. Lou, thanks for being out there. And he's even saying good evening and happy fourth season. Linda is also joining us, and she's saying lots of laughs at what, and we did. Hey, Linda. Linda's joining us from Canada. Martin's out there joining us from New York State. And you know what? I should be highlighting these as I say these,
so I can understand.
So you know what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, it was a little bit of a stressful evening, folks, but it's all good. Okay. So there we go. Thanks everybody for your wishes. Dan is joining us. Dan Rodriguez is out there, and he's joining us from Pennsylvania. He's saying, I'm here.
How did he guess it's not my favorite movie? About it.
Yeah, Dan. Ross has been kicking and turning, and he's been just like,
I don't think I said anything publicly about it. Maybe it's just my attitude.
Yeah, well, you see, our family of viewers know us so well, Ross.
I know they're taking my temperature. Yeah, but my feelings can be independent of the film. I can. Wait, what's this spectacles thing? Oh, hi.
That's Brennan. Brennan is joining us. Hey, Brennan.
That's
where's Brennan at? Is Brennan in New Jersey?
I don't know where he is. I've never.
Where are you, Brennan?
Where are you, Brennan?
We don't know where.
We're coming for you.
What state of mind are you in, Brennan? Or what state of? Maybe. Is it New Jersey? And Dan is saying, "Yeah, baby." Oh boy, we're just having too much fun and we didn't
How
even start.
long was
Probably not very.
Place your wagers.
My money's on 9:30.
Ish.
Linda's saying you're a trooper, Ross.
Oh, thank you.
She's only saying that because you like Zardoz.
That's a movie.
You promote Zardoz.
That's a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, my point exactly. Massachusetts. Okay, Brennan, I just wanted to make a note of that. So last night I was tripping over Randy. I was trying to remember where's Randy from. So Randy is actually from Wisconsin, which I remembered. So now I will remember that you were from Massachusetts. So thanks for sharing that, Brennan. Much appreciated. So yes, we are well represented this evening. Now I don't know if everybody came in all at once, but the 4th season credits have been revamped. So I'm going to play them again so everybody gets the full effect, just to add to Ross's dismay for another additional 30 seconds. So in case you missed the opening credits, I am going to play them again.
So now people tuning in later, people tuning in now think you're even later than usual. Now, the show's just starting.
Yeah. Oh boy. And Linda said I said the magic word, Zardoz. Here I thought the magic word was camaraderie, but oh well. Anyway, thanks, Lou. Much apprecied.
Beautiful.
Ross, when his one photo was taken, he was thinking about this movie, and that's how we got him to smile for the end credits.
There you go.
Anyway,
it's hard to imagine me with that beard. Yeah, isn't it? Well, you put together that 3 or 4 minute video last week where you had me with the beard, and I thought, boy, that beard was pretty crazy. That was a pretty egregious beard. Yeah. Yeah, you've got the beard now. Isn't that ironic? By the end of the season, you're gonna have the big beard, and I'll be clean shaven. You should just let it go. It'll be your COVID beard.
The COVID beard. Yeah. I am just ecstatic, Ross, that we have that immortalized on the show where you are actually shaving that though.
Yeah, I mean, came down from the mountain. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that in itself is just. I mean, that's a part of history. I mean, that's one for the books. I'm not sure what book or books, but it's definitely in the books.
Yeah, we got to come up with some more crazy stuff.
Yeah,
more simulcast from the drive-through, more shaving on the air, more eating hoagies. This is my pledge for season 4. Yeah,
but you know what's great about all that? All that was spontaneous. What is it? Yeah, spontaneous. There was none of that was planned. I think that really added to the effect, though. It was not forced. Yeah. Hey, David is joining us. David, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And I believe, David, correct me if I'm wrong, are you in New Hampshire? I think I recall you saying you're in New Hampshire. And Brendan is saying it's not like the change of credits between the 2 seasons of Space 1999, but okay. Yeah, nothing drastic, Brennan. Nothing drastic. It's kind of like Lost in Space. It was an upgrade. We just kind of shuffled some stuff around, but
yeah,
okay. What was that, Ross?
I said, yeah, we shuffled some stuff around.
Yeah. Well, you know what I could always do? I could always revamp them every week, and we could have changed up credits for every episode, and that'll really push me over the edge.
Yeah. Well, then it'll be like season 1 of Space 1999.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We could do clips of what this episode is going to be like.
That's what we'll do. We'll take clips from the future.
Ross going as he's thinking about Austin Powers. Hey, Deborah. Deborah's joining us from New Jersey. Welcome, Deborah. Thanks for being out there. I'm tormenting Ross right now.
Yes.
I'm kind of delaying our discussion of this movie, but I have to say, and I'm surprised, Vince is not out there yet, but I really got a kick out of this movie. I thought this movie was fun. I mean, it's silly fun, and it's just something I guess you have to be in the mood for it. And if I'm not mistaken, I did see this movie with Vince, and it would have, again, it's crazy. I mean, 1997 this came out, which is 26 years ago, which in itself is crazy. I mean, it's that long.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it was that long ago myself. I don't know that I've ever seen it.
Really?
I mean, I've seen some of it. I know I've definitely seen some of it, but I probably didn't make it all the way through until this week. But yeah, I obviously didn't see it in the theater.
Okay.
So did you?
Yes. Yeah, I did. But I saw the first one, this one. I saw the second one in the theater, and I also saw the third one in the theater. However, the first one, this one is the one that I liked the most out of them all. And then the second one wasn't bad, but the third one I was just like, hurt me. I just fell off. Hey, Michelle Diatta is joining us. Michelle, welcome. Michelle is joining us from the state of, man, I'm slipping. Michelle, you're in New York, aren't you? It's either New York or Connecticut, but I want to say New York State. It's been a long day.
Yeah, 1997.
Connecticut, okay. Yeah, Linda, 97. Or should I say, yeah, baby, 97. You're going to hear a lot of that tonight. And Michelle's even agreeing. Yeah, tell me about it. Now I know. It's crazy. So anyway, so Ross, this is the first time you saw the movie through.
Probably.
Okay.
I'm saying yes. And I think I'm telling the truth.
Gotcha.
I probably saw the beginning on video or on television or something and just never caught the rest, or I forgot it,
right.
Which is unusual. But it's about what I expected, I suppose. It depends on what you find funny. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes it's very funny, and sometimes it's crass. In my opinion, and that a lot of modern comedies they're not Preston Sturges. Let's put it like that. But when it's funny, it's funny. When he did the send-ups of the 60s and the whole gag, where I mean, the best part of it is just the concept that they're both Austin Powers and Dr. Evil are so out of it because of the time lag, and I can totally relate because I'm the same way.
I know, it's like
I think we all went into cryogenic freeze for 20 years. And they're just totally out of touch, with what went on. So that recurring gag is funny, I think. It just depends on what you find is funny, what you think is funny. I'm not so much into the crude stuff.
Yeah.
You get enough of that in real life.
No, this is true.
What are you gonna say, Roy?
Linda's commenting. She's saying, for what it's worth, I know that I saw it and I still can't remember much about it. Right. Followed up by, although I don't remember hating it, and I think I would watch it again. So there you go.
Yeah, it depends on what you think's funny and what you don't think's funny, I guess.
Well, Martin is saying Ross is popping out to the Big Boy Burger joint at the halftime.
There we go. I'll meet you there.
Yeah. Dan is commenting, saying, I like them all, but only saw them on television. Yeah. Right. Hey, and we also hey guys, you're both looking shadadelic.
Not. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Block.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, really. I'm not even sure who that is.
It's Matt.
It's Matt?
No, I don't know.
Where's the block? It's all good. Yeah, Michelle's commented. She said she went to school in New York. Yeah, sorry, Michelle. I know that. I'm just tired. It's been a long day. Dan is saying Roy and Ross, Dr. Evil and Austin. I've never seen them all at the same time all together.
Which is which?
Yeah. Oh, Ross knows. Oh, I know who it is. It's probably the Hague. John is with us. John is in the house. Hey, John. that was the tip.
All right.
No,
we're
but
talking about the movie.
yeah, we're digressing, and we're not even getting back.
And not entertainingly.
No, not at all. Michelle's saying, so is this the alternate universe, Roy? Love the goatee. It's been a while since I've been on here. Thanks, Michelle. Sure. Much appreciated. Yeah, it feels like an alternate universe. And welcome, Michelle. This is our 4th season opener, so your timing is appropriate. So we are kicking off our 4th season rather in a solemn mood as we try to propel ourselves through it. I just can't believe, though, before we start getting into it, that it is actually April 21st already. I mean, what the heck? I mean, we are rapidly encroaching upon May already, which is insane. Yeah. I'm not sure I'm ready for that. Although May and June are my favorite months of the year.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the movie.
Let's talk about the movie a little.
So all roads lead to Star Trek, as they always do on the show, and they do in this movie. And at one point, we see Vasquez Rocks. How cool is that? And also a project that is lurking in the background that Austin is trying to find out that what Dr. Evil is up to is Project Vulcan. So there we go. There are Star Trek references. And we always like to give Starlog Magazine a tribute, as we always do. And back in the day, Starlog Magazine issue number 265 did feature Austin Powers on the cover, even if it was in the little corner. So there we go with that. So anyway, just wanted to share that. Before we start talking more, tomorrow is Deborah's birthday. So
oh my goodness,
happy birthday, Deborah. Deborah, I would sing happy birthday to you, but I do not want to scare our viewers.
You don't want to ruin her birthday.
And I don't want to ruin your birthday with that. So but wishing you a very, very happy birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
That is very special. Anyway, so let's show some of the characters just to refresh the memories of our folks out there. And then, of course, we have Austin Powers. And then we have Dr. Evil, Miss Kensington. And then, of course, whatchamacallit?
Michael York.
Michael York as, and I keep tripping up on his
Basil Exposition.
Thank you for the save, Ross.
Yeah, I forgot to write. Oh, I did write it down. I don't remember writing it down. See, just like watching the movie. Like maybe I did write it down.
Did you?
Yeah, I told you about my Michael York story.
No, well, tell us.
Nah, I told it already.
No, we don't remember.
We're all so doddering on this show anymore. We should just record maybe 4 or 5 shows and just keep rerunning them.
Oh man, tell us about your Michael York story.
I told this story, but I'll tell it again. Then everybody's tired of hearing it. Michael York came around to Philadelphia in a revival of Camelot, and it was not a great show. I mean, the show's a classic. But it wasn't, it wasn't the best. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't like anything to really, it was not thrilling. But anyway, so he does the show, and then afterwards, I decide I'm going to go around to the stage door, to meet Michael York, and some people out there. Everybody has their collectibles, of course. They've got Cabaret, and they've got Logan's Run, and they got all of the things for him to sign, and he's going. Oh, he comes out. And he's going down the line, and he's going, oh yes, and signing. He's all weary. And I've got my CD from Alan Havanis. It's the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, which he narrated. And I had the booklet for that. And he gets down to me, and I hand it to him. And he looks at it, and his eyes light up, and he goes, "Oh, I'd be delighted to sign this." And everybody's like looking. It's like, what's he got? He didn't say that when he saw my Cabaret poster.
You know what's really sad, Ross? I don't remember this story.
Well, it's not very well told. I probably told it better last time. That's why. It's one of those stories that gets worse with repetition. especially when I'm uninspired. So that's my Michael York story. So yeah, one of these CDs is signed by, in fact, I probably have it right here, actually within reach.
Oh, pretty cool.
Let's see, Alan Havanas. Here it is. I don't know if you can see it here.
Hold on. Let me magnify you here. Oh, I'm
you magnify me right off the right off the screen. There you go. Look at that signature. Of course, he wrote it in cuneiform. You know? Can anybody decipher? Can anybody make out Michael York in that signature? You're gone, aren't you?
No, I'm here. I can't make out his signature though. But...
All I heard was crickets. Maybe it was the peepers. Yeah.
Release the Krell.
Yeah. There you go.
That is pretty cool. What year? How long ago was that?
What, that I saw him?
Yeah.
I'd have to Google it and see. Probably, I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Linda said she loves it.
I saw him one other time after that, but yeah, no good story for that one.
Yeah, there you go. So, anyway,
yeah, but
stop with the comments, spider ass or whatever you are.
But the thing that's endearing about this film, the thing I did like was the fact that even though I thought it was really successful in both spoofing the era, but also kind of recapturing the era just from the entertainment. Obviously I was just an infant at the time that the opening was set.
Right.
But from everything that we've seen, it really, the music groups and the movies and, the newsreels and, everything that we see from the 60s, I think they really captured really well in this film, just the ridiculousness of it and the wacky fashion and yet that innocence, which, how innocent is it? It's all sex and drugs and
and rock and roll.
And rock and roll.
Don't forget the rock and roll, Ross.
From our perspective, it's like, yeah, it's pretty innocent. Yeah.
Linda said, "Oh my God, you guys are killing me."
Cuneiform, yeah. There you go. I'm glad somebody was amused by my use of cuneiform. What's it say? All roads?
No, and Martin, you're absolutely right. That's another road that I didn't include.
Was he in Star Trek?
Yeah, Charles Napier. He actually was. And he was in my most loved episode of classic Star Trek third season. It is probably on my top 2 list, and I'm being totally facetious. And that is whatchamacallit. And the title just went right out of my mind, which is hysterical. I am slipping.
It's not the one. It's not Spock's brain. We just did that.
No.
Yeah.
It's actually the one with the hippies.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, everybody knows what it is, but I don't remember the title now.
That's terrible. I'm actually I'm blanking out on the title. That is
the thing about Charles Napier is people like message you furiously about it. Is he was actually in another film called Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, which is referenced in this movie at least once. Yeah, when Austin walks into that party at the beginning at the Electric Psychedelic Pussycat Swingers Club.
Right.
And he goes, "This is it's my happening baby, and it's freaking me out." And that's actually a reference to there you go, Way to Eden.
Yeah, the Way to Eden. Yeah. Thanks, Martin. Thanks, Brennan.
See.
Yeah, I blocked it out.
They're eating those super fruits.
Yeah. I didn't have my blueberries this week.
lots of protein and yeah. But anyway, so this that's a line taken from Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, and Charles Napier was one of the many actors in that film. It's uttered in the original by this guy Z-Man, who's a record producer, I guess, kind of based on Phil Spector, but the movie totally goes off the rails. I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it, but it's one of the wackiest, most sickening movies. And not ironically, but funnily enough, it was written by Roger Ebert.
Oh, okay.
He wrote the screenplay, and it's funny if you go and read the review for Austin Powers that Roger Ebert did. He references the line or quotes the line in the review, but he doesn't make mention that he wrote the screenplay for Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. He says, "Oh yes, the immortal line from Beyond the Valley of the Dolls." Yeah, you tell him, Roger.
Linda's saying Eden. I love that episode. Then again, I love hippies. No, I'm all.
She loves hippies. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I'm all cool with the '60s movement and everything. It's just that it's like every show, and it's a product of the times. I mean, I can look at that episode a little bit differently. In fact, when we had on who was it? It was Mark Cushman was on the show. Probably it's been almost 2.5 years ago, and we were talking about that episode, and he reminded me again what you just said. It's a product of the times. I mean, it was so much part of the culture. And that's why, Trek devoted an episode to it. But it is what it was. But
it is what it was. Now for homework, you all have to watch Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Now, what year did that come out, Ross?
I don't know. I think
was it in the 60s?
Yeah, definitely 60s. Yeah, but I can't remember the year. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I know they got sued by Jacqueline Suzanne, who wrote Valley of the Dolls, because it wasn't really an actual sequel to Valley of the Dolls. They tried to say it was kind of a spoof, but it's not. It's weird. It's part comedy, part horror, part
everything.
Yeah, it's just like the whole thing is just such a wacky mashup of genres.
And it was Beyond. Was it called Beyond the Valley?
Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. Yeah.
It actually came out in 1970. It was a musical comedy.
Oh, is that what they call it? A musical comedy?
Yeah.
1970?
Yeah.
No. Are you sure? Did you look it up?
I just looked it up, but if it was called Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, yeah.
If it's the movie, yeah, and not some spin-off musical or something. Yeah, it's not really a comedy. You're laughing on the outside, crying on the inside. It's a Russ Meyer film. I should add that. I'm sorry. Then you know what you're in for.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russ Meyer. It's the same film.
Oh man, that's too bad. Yeah, I'll send you all a clip from it if you want. I know I sent one to The Hague, and he was just like, "What is this from? What the hell did you send me?" Yeah.
Oh, Deborah's saying 1967.
Yeah, I thought it was 60s. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the old saying: if it's on Wikipedia, it must be wrong. He's saying that he saw the Z-Man last night.
Oh, well, there you go. There's somebody who knows the film.
Yeah.
All right. Right. Coming to get you, Murdoch. Yeah.
Yeah, and also Charles Napier was in what was it? Silence of the Lambs.
He was in the Blues Brothers too, right? Wasn't he with they like both kinds of westerns. Play both kinds of music, country and western. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're freaking them out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liz is even saying it's showing 1970 as well too. So I don't know. That's
maybe they made it in 67 and they couldn't get it released.
That could be.
Until
that
1970.
Could be. Sometimes that happens. I mean, there's a tie-up,
especially with Russ Meyer. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually there's about at least a year delay. I mean, and with post-production and everything. So, but yeah.
Well, definitely, they've got the frills going and the whole Austin Powers thing going there. So,
yeah.
A lot of influences on this movie. Yeah, that's why you chuckle at it. Because at the beginning he's running from everybody, and they have the big musical number, and it's very. What was it? Was it a Hard Day's Night? Which one was it where the Beatles are running from everybody in the movie?
Wasn't it a Hard Day's Night?
Lester? I think it was.
Yeah.
And you've got. I mean, the influences are. I mean, I just jotted down so many of them here from the '60s movies and the. And you had the musical interludes. That's kind of like short interludes that were kind of like punctuations to the certain scenes, like they would do in Laugh-In or the Monkees.
Right. Now that exactly, there was a big takeoff on Laugh-In with that, because they would do the in between, like the different skits,
Right.
They would have all the dancers and
Goldie
doing
Hawn.
their thing, and then they would do the close-ups and they would do the pan, so to speak.
Right.
Liz commented Valley of the Dolls was 1967. So
okay. No, this is beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Yeah, and this was beyond that you were talking about.
Okay, so it might have been 1970.
Yeah. And then Deborah is saying November 16th, 67. November 28th.
Yeah, I saw that movie. Yeah, I don't know, almost 40 years ago, and I still feel dirty. Kind of like Babylon. The
Hague is saying he met Russ Meyer once at a TLA video. A very nice fellow. Interesting.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back to the cast there. Yeah, so you got Mike Myers, Elizabeth Hurley. You've got Michael York. Michael York, of course, went on to do, well, before this, what was it, 1976, it was Logan's Run, and that was the movie before the series came out, which was a sci-fi hit. We talked about that.
He's in a lot of stuff. He's in Three Musketeers. The
Three Musketeers, yeah.
Also with Richard Lester. He was in, Cabaret and just a lot of stuff. Yeah.
You have Robert Wagner, who his career started like in 1950. I mean, he was a contract player with 20th Century Fox.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it's in Prince Valiant.
Mm-hmm.
Beneath the 12-Mile Reef. I like all his movies he's not known for, I guess.
Yeah, and he actually did a movie with what was it, with Jeffrey Hunter back in the day? It was what was it, The Story of Jesse James, I think.
Oh, did he? Yeah,
he did that, and that was in 57. The one movie we talked about on the show, I don't think we discussed the movie itself, but it's been mentioned. It was because of Irwin Allen disaster movies. He was in The Towering Inferno.
Right.
And that was in 74. That came out.
Yeah, I was surprised that they were able to get Michael York and Robert Wagner in this.
Pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah.
And he plays it straight, which is great. I mean, he's so deadpan with it, and then that's what sells it, and it definitely works. Deborah's saying, "Stop it, Ross." Lots of laughs about Babylon. And, we're dropping quotes. Jeff Rubel, they're always after me. Lucky Charms. Hey, Dennis Chevalier is joining us from Canada, folks. Dennis, welcome. Good to see you out there. Welcome to the 4th season opener. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being there. You had Mimi Rogers that was in this movie, which obviously in the leather was a takeoff on the Avengers with Steel. I mean, that was
right. Although she didn't have the kind of the resonance of what's her name?
Oh, Diana Rigg.
I'm only watching these things every night.
Diana Rigg, yeah.
Diana Rigg. I mean, literally, I watched like 5 of them this week. It's like, who is that? Diana Rigg.
Your brain is frozen, Ross.
I know it's going. But
Ross Powers, there is no escape.
I'm still coming out of the cryogenic freeze. Yeah. But I mean, I think the outfit and the fact that he would refer to them as Miss this or Miss that,
Well, she was Mrs.
Yeah, it was always Mrs. Peel, right?
Right.
Even though we knew her first name, yeah.
We never heard anything about Mr. Peel.
Oh yeah, he comes back at a point.
Does he really?
When she leaves the series, yeah. We don't get a close look at him, but
interesting. I did not know that.
He kind of looks like Steed from the distance.
Probably was. It was a trick. It's a trap. Going back to the actresses and the actors, though. I'm gonna butcher her name. Fabiana Udinio.
Oh yeah.
She was playing Alata Facina. No, actually, was it? No, that wasn't. No,
yeah, that was it, Roy.
Yeah,
that's as close as I'm getting to it.
A lot of vagina.
You said it, not me.
Hey, that's the character's name, Ross. I
know. And that's about the level of the comedic invention in this movie.
Yeah,
the comic invention. Yeah. Well, don't forget Mindy Sterling. Yeah, you didn't mention.
That's who I was trying to start off with. Mindy Sterling is right next to Robert Wagner, and she was playing Fra.
Oh, yeah, Frau Farbacina. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a takeoff on the character that was in From Russia with Love.
Mm.
And
right. That wasn't Lotte Lenya that played the part, was it?
And From Russia with Love.
Oh man, this is we should have talked about this. We should have talked it out, Roy.
Should have talked it out. We're going against everything, but you know what? Like Michelle Diata said, this is a parallel universe. So you know what? We're going against the grains. Yes, Ross.
Yeah.
Lotte Lenya was the one that she was
She was the composer Kurt Weill's wife. Lotte Lenya. She was a singer and a cabaret performer.
And then with
what?
I was going to say with Fabiana Udino, who is Alata Vagina. That character was based on the Luciana Paluzzi's character from Thunderball, and that was Fiona Volpe.
Okay.
She was the redhead,
and obviously it was supposed to be a throwback also to Pussy Galore.
She was the redhead that was in Thunderball, and I don't know if you remember that film. I actually had the opportunity to meet her, and she was a sweetheart. She was so nice, and she was a chiller, very very sweet.
Yes, sometimes the level of humor in this movie didn't quite scale the heights.
Well, they were
not that it has to make you laugh, is what it has to do, and it just depends on your sense of humor,
Yeah, and what it is.
Otherwise, they get an eye roll.
Yeah, and sometimes they would beat a few of the jokes too. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Plenty of things I like have some eye roll and humor in it too, but
yeah.
So, but yeah, so all right, you did those characters. Good. Oh, well, we didn't do Joe's son or Joe's son or whatever his name was. Was he up there?
There he is.
The odd job character.
Yeah, this guy actually got into a lot of trouble.
Random task.
Instead of throwing his bowler, he was throwing his shoe.
Yeah. Did you have his photo or?
Oh, I didn't realize I didn't put it up.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, there he is.
Where is he? There he is.
Yeah, and he is the odd job of this film.
Like Harold Sakata.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's doing hard time right now.
Yeah.
He was a Hellraiser. Did a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah, not so good.
Not so good. So I don't think he's going to be in a sequel if they're making one.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
No
time soon. But anyway, here's some other movie memories, and this is on the photo on the left is with the opening,
which was inspired. That's the thing. Like when you have stuff with the with everybody doing the somersaults, the Bobbies doing the somersaults and stuff like that. I think is funny. And the death by the steamroller. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, that. Oh boy, we're just gonna lose it tonight. Yes, Martin, I would agree. The humor was somewhere between Benny Hill and Saturday Night Live. Yes, that's a perfect analysis.
Yeah, there's.
And Brennan is asking, what was the name of Will Ferrell's character? I'm not dead yet. That was Mustafa.
Mustafa, right. And Will Ferrell was on Saturday Night Live, but I don't think he made any movies yet at this point, or at least he wasn't,
No, I don't think so either.
That known in the movies. I did a double take when he came on. I said, "Wait a minute, is that Will Ferrell?"
Yeah.
But the musical number at the beginning was great, and they did. It was Quincy Jones, Soul Bossa Nova, which I knew from the Woody Allen comedy, Take the Money and Run. I don't know if you ever saw that movie. They used to show it on, New York television all the time, or
Channel 11 probably, or 5,
or Channel 5 or whatever. Yeah, Virgil Starkwell. Yeah, well, at one point he gets arrested and he escapes with the chain gang, and they're playing that music, the Austin Powers music.
So essentially, this movie borrowed a lot from a lot of different films.
Oh yeah, well, you got the Secret Agent Man. You heard that in the climax. A totally Bondian, shootout with people flying off of balconies and things. Yeah.
In fact, in regards to this too, I mean, it has James Bond written all over it. And I think Daniel Craig was actually on record that he pretty much, I mean, he said some, derogatory stuff saying that pretty much the Austin Powers movies really, blanked over the Bond movies, and that's why the Bond movies actually started going darker when they did Casino Royale, because what happened was, Bond was always kind of tongue in cheek and making, fun of itself, but this movie went to the extreme with that. So part of the reason why they decided to take things in a different direction, starting with Casino Royale, when what was that, 2006, I think 2006, 2007, they just went, a lot darker and a lot more serious.
Bond it's hard. It's kind of like trying to watch Excalibur after watching Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
It's a good analogy.
But I love Excalibur, but yeah, I mean, you can't help at certain times but think of how they handled how Monty Python handled the earlier film.
Martin. So next week we're going to do Casino Royale, the original version.
Well, Mike Myers must have loved that movie.
Oh yeah. That Bond movie had how many? I guess Casino Royale. How many James?
Well, that had Woody Allen in it, and also David Niven.
Yeah.
It had like 5 Bonds or something. Yeah, was he in it? Peter Sellers was in it. He was in everything back then. Well, I mean, Peter Sellers had to be a model for Mike Myers in this one. The fact that he plays both Austin and Dr. Evil.
But you know what? Originally, he wasn't going to. They were looking at getting Jim Carrey for the part, but he was tied up because of Liar Liar. And then I guess they decided to go with Mike Myers doing both.
Yeah. Which you don't encourage Mike Myers, because then, of course, in the sequels, he starts doing everybody.
Yeah.
Which is very Peter Sellers.
My God, you're a fart.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to say it.
Exactly.
I did not like that character. That character just...
They modeled Dr. Evil and Donald Pleasance, in the Bond film.
Yeah, I'm talking about the third movie, though.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And again, I've seen clips. I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen the movies. Is that the one with Michael Caine? Is that you seen the third one?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Brennan said they still did Star Wars after Spaceballs, though. This is true. 7 Bonds and 5 directors. Wow, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? That's from Martin. That's pretty intense, actually. I have to go back and watch that movie. I have not seen Casino Royale in such a long time.
Oh yeah, 5 directors, right. I remember John Huston was one of them, and then you had was it Tijuana Brass? Didn't they do the soundtrack? Were they on the soundtrack, Tijuana Brass?
You know what? I'm not sure. They probably you would think know.
So. Yeah, I think it was Burt Bacharach, actually. It was.
There you go.
Yeah, who of course was in this movie, and in fact he was the inspiration in part for the entire thing, because Mike Myers was driving him one day and he had the radio on in the car, and Burt Bacharach came on, and that put him in the whole mindset. He made a remark to his wife. It's like, hey, what happened to all the swingers? All of this.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny that he got Burt Bacharach actually to be in the movie.
And part of that too was, I mean, his wife, I guess, said that he would be like dancing through the living room and stuff, and that's how it got incorporated into the movie. I mean, she had a lot of influence. Hey, Sherry's is tuning in. She's saying, "Hey guys, just tuning in. Forgot it was Friday. Lots of laughs. Hi from Holland Township, New Jersey. Better late than never. Never saw this movie. Is there a shower scene in this one? Lots of laughs."
I think there is.
You know what? I'm sure that Austin Powers wished there was a shower scene in this movie.
Well, there's the scene where you get to see his hairy chest. I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
He gets a shower when he comes out of the cryogenic, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. They're decontaminating him, and they're getting.
Yeah, you'll love it, Sherry. It's the best. It's just like Charlton Heston in.
Hey, you know what? Soylent Green just literally hit the official 50th anniversary.
Oh, did it?
Just this week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, we're heading there. We're heading there. Yeah.
Liz is commenting, Mike Myers played multiple characters in So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Yeah. Which I also have not seen. I remember when it was out, but I guess I haven't seen any of Mike Myers movies. I liked when he. Yeah.
I was going to say, who is really good at doing that is, and I'm deflecting to Star Trek, is Brent Spiner. Brent Spiner was brilliant in Star Trek. I mean, where he was able to play Data, he was able to play Lore. his evil twin brother, and then also to be able to play Dr. Soon, the creator of Data and Lore. I mean, there's an episode entitled Brothers. It's the I think it's like the third or fourth episode in the fourth season, and I mean, the whole episode is centered around him, and he nails it. I mean, you really feel that each character portrayal is a different entity, I'll say, and he's really brilliant with that. John is saying you'll especially like the extended tingling.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing where it's
that just went on and on and on and on.
But it's such obvious. But didn't they have a thing in Dr. No when they had him strip when they brought him into the lair, and you could see their legs when they were going down the conveyor belt or whatever.
Exactly, same thing.
Yeah.
I knew Zardoz would work its way in.
There you
go. Hey, Colin, thanks for joining us. Colin's joining us from the UK. Welcome.
Hi, Colin.
Good to see you out there.
You missed it, Colin. It was the best. It was the best show ever. Good night, everybody.
Sherry, happy anniversary.
Soylent Green.
Yeah. So anyway, but back to the here's some other images. Yeah.
All
right. Mr. Bigglesworth.
Mr. Bigglesworth. Yeah. It's funny that
in the fembots
models Dr. Evil on the Donald Pleasant's incarnation of Blofeld, and then he's the actual Donald Pleasance is chasing Mike Myers in Halloween.
I know, right? We're coming full circle with all this.
Yeah, by coincidence. Yeah. But go ahead, show the fembots. I'm sorry.
Lou, I forgot that there were 3 of those flicks. Yeah. We're trying to. We're trying to too, Lou.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, behave.
Yeah. Back to the fembots.
Yeah. Well, we were going back and forth trying to figure out what we we're going to do for the season opener. And I don't know. One of the things that Roy suggested, I don't mind doing it at some point, was Dr. Goldfoot in the Bikini Machine. And I'm wondering if this was, because you remember they weren't fembots, but he had the whole, that Vincent Price has a robot brigade of the women in the bikinis. Well, we'll get to that during beach season.
Yeah, that easily could have been a takeoff on this.
Yeah.
And then the fembots, I mean, obviously we're in
Bionic
Woman.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a huge thing.
fembots.
Well, they did the crossover with the $6 Million Man, but that was a huge thing. I mean, they did that crossover, and they had I think that was like a 3-parter. And John Houseman was the creator of the fembots, and he was after the weather control machine, and he had this vendetta against Oscar Goldman. And that was so sad.
This is the man who used to work with Orson Welles. And now he's with the fembots.
Hey, it's work.
Man, it's after the paper chase too, I think.
Yes.
He'd already had his Oscar. And he's, what am I going to do now with this Oscar Gold? What are we going to do with it? You going to go to Disneyland? No, I'm going to be on Bionic Woman with the fembots.
Sharks with freaking laser beams. That's all I ask. There's so many good quotes in this film.
Yeah, there's some good quotes.
But
yeah, I mean, they're all the obvious, spy-fi, super spy kind of references in the movie. There were things that I think would be more familiar if you grew up in the UK. I mean, we're very fortunate now because we have YouTube and we have all these channels and all this stuff gets reissued on DVD and we know what some of the stuff is. But Peter Wingard was such a big deal for his Austin Powers, his proto Austin Powers fashion. Later he was Clytus and Flash Gordon. We never
right,
yes, but you knew his voice. And the rock groups and the Beatles and Christian wrote to me or left a comment on my post on Facebook, and he mentioned Reg Presley of the Trogs, and I couldn't picture who he was. Yeah, they sang Wild Thing, but I was watching on YouTube, and it's all everybody back then was like Austin Powers-esque.
Oh yeah.
So,
Colin commented too. He said, "This sort of film tests what sort of mind some of us have."
I guess. And then there was a show that I didn't know about called Adamant Lives. Did you see this?
I saw it.
They're all on YouTube. Yeah,
but I never saw it though.
It's the creators of Doctor Who, which means the creators of the Avengers also, because the same producer was involved with all these things. But yeah, it's a Victorian crime fighter or what have you, falls into suspended animation again, and they bring him out in the swinging 60s, swinging London. And yeah, so it's the same kind of, except this one starts out then and they bring him up into the 90s, but in that case it goes from the 19th century to the 60s.
But you know what's crazy? Back when this movie came out, 1967 seemed like so far back. It was like,
I know
what I mean? It's like, oh my God, that was 30 years ago. That was so long ago. And now it's like 1997 is coming up on 30 years. I mean, it's not quite there yet, but I mean, this is a 26-year-old movie. I mean, my God, it's almost like the same, you know what I mean? I mean, 4 years is a long time, but my point is that when I'm thinking that, literally 26, this is almost 30 years ago. It's
I know.
Insane.
Like 1997. Yeah. What happened between 1997 and now?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. I mean, some things happened, but I mean, did anything change in fashion or did anything good happen in pop culture? No.
Well, yeah. John is saying if you do Goldfoot, you'll be wowed by the acting chops of both Frankie Avalon and Dwayne Hickman. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Oh boy. And Brennan is saying
that's why we would watch it for that.
There's a little Jerry Cornelius too from the final.
Oh my God! Yes, absolutely. I was totally thinking that with John Finch. Yeah, with the.
Hey, Randy Lee is joining us, and he's joining us from Wisconsin. Randy, yes, we were postponed, but that was a couple weeks ago, and then we postponed it.
I probably confused him because I shared last week's post and saying it said it's tonight, but in the post itself it said it's delayed a week.
Oh, okay.
So, but I'm sorry, I couldn't come up with anything fresh.
That's all right.
I was uninspired today.
No worries.
We ruined Randy Lee's night.
It's all your fault, Ross.
I have to go back and watch the archive.
There you go.
The webcast. Yeah.
And Colin's saying, "Data film could be made like Austin Powers now. The slightest thing seems to offend." Yeah, this film probably would not be.
Probably not.
Hey, Dave Rash is joining us. Dave is joining us from East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Welcome, Dave. Good to see you out there.
Hello.
Hope you had a good week. And Randy's saying, "Oh, I thought this was a Roy's time travel experience." Are we back in the 60s? We're all over the place.
Indeed we are.
We're all over the place, Randy.
We're bearing down on the 60s without time travel.
Yeah, there you go.
We're in our late 50s.
Yeah, it's rapidly closing, though, on the 60s.
Yeah. I'm going to say mid-50s.
Groovy. But no, it's fun stuff. And again, talking about the quotes, I mean, one of the lines, what was it? Dr. Evil, do you really expect him to pay? And then I'm like waiting for him. He goes, "No, Mr. Powers, I expect him to die."
Yeah.
Goldfinger.
Right. But again, with the not keeping up with the being out of it for 20 years and ransoming the world for $1 million.
Yes,
and everyone laughing at it.
It's like 4, and then they do the big close up.
Yeah.
$1 million, and even the council is like laughing at him. Like,
the UN.
Okay.
Oh yeah, his council. Yeah,
and our council.
Yeah, everybody's just laughing at him. Yeah, they had a couple of Seinfeld actors in this, that were known from Seinfeld anyway. I mean, you saw the soup Nazi, he was at the casino
player. Yeah.
Right. The dealer. And then there was Babu, who was the UN secretary, was a recurring actor on Seinfeld also. And at the time, that we're talking about late 90s here. So
Oh, Liz commented. She said, "People never think about how things affect the family of a henchman." Love that quote. And whoops, Martin said, "Now having Austin as a spy who's also a photographer is a takeoff of Matt Helm." Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is that what it was? I was thinking about also the Antonioni movie, Blow Up, which was a very big movie in the 60s with David Hemmings. You know, he's the fashion photographer who captures a murder on film. But that whole end credits thing that he does, I thought it was a whole David Hemmings thing. I didn't know if it was Matt Helm or maybe both. You know, maybe that's what he had in mind when he was doing it. But I don't know. I just know everybody had posters in their rooms back then with the Blow Up, you know, with Hemmings on it. And what was the other? Oh yeah, Russ Meyer was the other one. What were you talking about right before that? Oh, Henchman. Yeah, whenever I watch not this particular movie, but when I watch a James Bond movie or anything anymore, you know, it could be like, I don't think about it with Star Wars, but a lot of these things, yeah, I used to watch these things when I was a kid, and it's always like, okay, you run around, you're shooting everybody, they're all dying, and you keep going. Now I think about the people dying. I'm thinking, wow, that person, you know, he was born, he probably had a whole life, and he had he has pets at home, and he had a family, and now he's a corpse.
Nice, Ross.
he was just like a disposable, you know, henchman, somebody who was part of this battalion sent out to stop Indiana Jones or James Bond. And now he's all messed up. He was born just for that moment, you know.
Martin is commenting, Blow Up was parodied in High Anxiety. Oh, Mel Brooks film. That was a great film.
Yeah.
That was a fun film.
I'll have to go back and watch that in a long time. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. You just brought something up about you were referencing to the henchmen and then what happens to the people and everything. There's something I was thinking about in terms of a show, but I can't comment on it because if I comment on it, it's going to potentially give spoilers, and I don't want to give any spoilers away. But it's something that I potentially will come back to probably in about maybe 2 weeks or so, because I think by that time most people will have seen the show, and I don't want to get into all the intricacies of that. But I was thinking about, you could almost have a show, you know, because based on this particular item, and I know I'm not giving anything away or making any sense about it, but all I can say is it is a valid point what you just brought up. So I've just
made a valid point about something.
I've just gone into a complete circle.
I'll wait in a few weeks. I'll know what you're talking about.
And we'll do time travel again, and we'll come back to it.
Oh, great! Yeah, we'll do time travel.
Brendan's saying there was a discussion in World is Not Enough between the henchmen about returning their snowmobiles in good condition because they were rentals. Lots of laughs.
World Is Not Enough now. Was that a
James Bond?
Right. Was that a
Pierce
Brosnan one? Because those were coming out
same time.
At the same time. Yeah, this was during the Pierce Brosnan era, and I didn't see any of those. So.
Really?
Yeah, I saw one later. The one with is Sean Bean or Sean?
Yes.
Was he the terrorist, the villain, or whatever he was in that one?
He was. I think he was 008. I think. Or 006.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I saw it on video much late. In fact, fairly recently, so I've totally forgotten it. I saw it within the last two and a half years. I don't know.
Yeah, 006. Yeah, I knew it was 8 or 6. Thanks, Colin.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I did see that then, I suppose.
Yeah. No, it was
memorable.
It was memorable. I enjoyed the Pierce Brosnan. Ironically enough, he could have potentially have been Bond sooner than later, but he was tied up because of Remington Steele.
Yeah.
He couldn't get out of his contract.
I know. I remember they made a big deal out of it when he finally got to be Bond. They're saying, "Oh, this was the role he was born to play, and he's finally playing Bond."
Yeah. Liz commented, Robert
really
Carlyle was a villain in one of the Pierce Brosnan films.
Was he clothed, or was he doing the full Monty?
I'm trying to think of which one he was in.
Forget it.
Yeah, I probably just busted your joke.
It wasn't that funny. But he was in the full Monty.
Oh, okay. But
and then he played I think Rumpelstiltskin on the ABC series, the Disney series about the fairy tales.
Oh, okay. Let me see here.
Oh, he was in another Bond movie where he dies.
Yeah.
Oh wait, was he in multiple Bond movies?
I thought he was only in the one.
Maybe it wasn't the title that you mentioned. Maybe it was another Bond movie.
And Liz got your joke.
All right, there you go.
Liz has got your back. I don't. Liz has got it.
She sees all the small UK films that become sleeper hits in the US. Yeah.
But
Full Monty was well enough known that I thought I could try to make a joke about it.
Nah, it was like.
No, it wasn't a funny joke though, so it's okay.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that well done.
Liz, that was World was not enough. Bean wasn't world.
See.
Okay.
That's what the hullabaloo is about there. Yeah. The hoo-ha.
And Martin is saying, no, I was joking. Every Dean Bean dies in every movie.
It's true.
Now, Timothy Dalton was one of my favorite Bonds. I thought he did a really good job. I really liked License to Kill. That was probably one of my favorite James Bond movies. And I thought it was a shame that he got pretty much ousted after that.
Right. You and I always have the same conversation about this. That's the last Bond movie I saw in the theater.
Yeah.
And in fact, it may have been. Yeah. I mean, I have since then seen some other Bonds, but all on video.
Yeah, that was 89. But 89 was a tough year with movies. I mean, there was a lot of good movies out. There was some, turkeys out there too. But in Raiders of the Lost, well, not Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade came out that same time. But
back to the freaking plot.
Back to the plot.
Yeah, that's what they're all tuning in for, Roy.
Yeah, I know.
They tune in when I tune out.
When they say they love the digression.
Yeah.
It's a lie.
Yeah. What I was saying about the about how man is the parody, yet to kind of capture the whole goofy, groovy vibe of in the innocence of that era. In a sense, it's kind of like what I don't want to put it on the same level, but it's kind of like the same thing that Lucas and Spielberg and later Quentin Tarantino were doing, where they kind of took earlier models and made them into something new. I mean, right. Austin Powers is kind of like that, where he's drawing from all these different influences to make his, like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Star Wars all took from a lot of stuff to make something totally new. And Tarantino with Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction and the stuff he does, it's the same kind of stuff, drawing off the old pulp and B movies.
Right.
And this kind of does that too. It takes all the Bond films and the super spy films and all the British comedies and comedians and rock groups that he watched in the 60s and throws them all in a blender and fashion icons and
it works though, because I mean, depending upon what your appreciation of the humor is, I mean, sometimes it's a bit much, but the references are there, and that's what he was exposed to, as you just said, growing up. So it really had an impact on him. When I think about filmmakers that go that route or come up with different stories like this, I mean, I think in terms of, even us, I mean, on a certain level, that it's something that we potentially could have done. I mean, I'm not saying it would be as successful but, you know what I mean? But it's just that I'm gonna digress a little bit, and forgive me, folks. It goes with the territory, but I was commenting, as you may know, Star Trek, The Next Generation obviously was on 87 to 1994, and Star Trek seasons 1 through 3, for Picard have been on, and there's been mixed reviews in regards to the first season, the second season being somewhat, better, and then this is in my opinion, and then the third season just knocking it out of the park. But part of the reason, at least for me, why it really works so well is because of the nostalgia effect. I mean, they really, really just tie into everything that was a part of that from that generation of the show. So I guess, where I'm trying to cross the bridge with that is with this. I mean, this is everything that essentially Mike Myers grew up with, However, he's satirizing it, and it's going in a different direction. And again, with some of it, the humor really works. Some of it, it's like, okay, it's a little over the top, but there's all those references, there's all those connections to the different films, even the different television shows. Obviously, we're talking about the Avengers before.
Right.
So I think in regards to that, when you have a piece or you have material like that, and you're tapping into what the general public or populace is, has experienced, there is going to be potentially somewhat of a positive reaction. I mean, and that's
well, so the nostalgia, and he obviously did it with a lot of affection. He clearly loved the all the influences, that he hung his own jokes on. But where was it going to go with that? Where is old man Amico going to go next?
But I think what you have to be careful though too is, though, at some point it's like that cannot be the continuous driving force. What's going to happen is it's going to burn out, just like anything. You can ride that wave, so to speak, with with your sails behind you, blowing from the wind. But eventually, if you just keep, doing the same type of material over and over again, and that's with anything. I mean, obviously, but I think that's why with these movies, I think, again, I'm just saying my opinion. The first one really, it was really good. The second one, was there, but then by the third one, I think he was really reaching. And then supposedly there was talk of potentially doing a fourth one. And it just never materialized. And then I think there was also a talk of maybe doing like a prequel. So it's just that I don't know, so much time has gone by. And again, we're probably looking at like, it's almost like 20 years, which is like, it's crazy. 20 years has gone by since like he did the last one. It's like, what the heck?
You start to stretch the goodwill. You run out of ideas, but you start to stretch the goodwill of the public too. The novelty wears off. People get kind of tired of it. And if you're doing stuff that's kind of like a pastiche, where you're drawing on all this other stuff to make your where you're not coming up with everything by yourself, there's only so much of that you can really do. I think 3 is about the as far as you can push it, because the third one's always a little creaky, even with Star Wars. You know what I mean? We made it through Jedi, and we said, okay, well, that was pretty good. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, we'll give you that. We'll give you the Ewoks. We'll give you the fact that you had to do another Death Star and all this other crap. It's like, wait a minute, we have 6 more. Wait a minute.
He knew what he was doing. I know what I'm doing. He knew what he was doing.
It's no longer what it was. You know what I mean? It's just become an industry now.
Well, that's just it, and that's the danger. It's like, is it about great storytelling, or is it about just turning it into a franchise for profit? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Brendan's commenting, 89 was weird. I thought Ghostbusters 2 was going to be good, and instead I saw Lethal Weapon 2 several times. I did expect that. I loved Lethal Weapon 2. That was probably my favorite out of the trilogy of those. Well, actually, there was more than 3. Out of that genre of movies, I thought that was probably the best, at least for me personally. Jack is saying the bittersweet taste of nostalgia grabs you before you are aware it's happening. That's well said. And Colin is saying, I'm not sure many actors.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
I'm not sure many actors
could have pulled off,
Yeah, actors could have pulled off the Austin Powers character as well as he did. No, absolutely.
Wow. Yeah.
Definitely agree.
I mean, he was always so good on. I was never so much into.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live. I was never so much into his Wayne's World thing, but the Dieter character. I don't know if you ever watched it, but he did Dieter, who was kind of like this, Euro arts guy that would have all these avant-garde films with like corpses with ants on their faces and stuff.
No, I didn't see that.
And then he would always be so, the black turtleneck and the hair slicked back, and then it always ended with, now is the time on Sprockets when we dance. Or touch my monkey. You say, touch my monkey.
Touch my monkey.
And it was one of those things where the audience would not laugh. And I'd be howling in my living room, I always laugh at the stuff that nobody likes. And then they do Wayne's World and the audience go, whoa! And it's like, this is not funny.
Ross goes against the grain.
I guess so.
Colin is saying, "Whoops, I think it would still be a hit if he made another film tomorrow."
It would.
Yeah,
be.
it just, probably now it would be because it's been so
It would
much
be sad
time.
though because everybody would be 59. You know,
No,
I
it's
think he's
true.
59 now, so he'd be older than us.
Yeah, Randy's saying, "Yet the novelty of this show has not worn off, Ross." Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that. Randy,
Yeah.
thanks for the compliment.
Yeah, I was thinking about it all day. I was thinking all day.
No, and that's something I don't want
Oh,
to happen
wait,
because
let me see. Yeah.
if we start getting stale, then I don't.
Yeah, well, we're getting a little stale, but yeah, there it is. Now it's time to dance on sprockets. I hope. Yeah, I'll have to look for those on YouTube, see if they're on tonight. If I can find them. Dieter's dance party.
As Liz mentioned earlier, he was Ace and married on Heck's Murderer. I forgot about that. That's funny. Yeah. No.
Yeah, he's not had a bad career. You know, he's made some successful movies. You know, he's in the Shrek films.
Yeah. He's done a lot of different stuff. No, we want to keep it fresh on here. I mean, we want to change things up, and you know, I've got some different things that are planned. Going to try to, you know, branch out a little bit. I mean, we've been doing pretty much the 60s and the 70s. We've been doing the 50s, you know, too, here and there. Going to try to branch out a little bit more into the 80s. Ross is not a big fan of the 90s, nor am I. I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't things that have come out that were done that were very, you know, very good in that time period, but the focus has always been pretty much on the 60s and the 70s, as well as the 50s, and there's definitely a lot of stuff in the 80s. But it's kind of interesting too, because I guess you like what you grew up with. I mean, not to say that you don't like current stuff, because there's different things I do appreciate personally, but this is really based on nostalgia. I mean, this stuff is pretty ingrained in all of us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff I like and dislike in all eras, I guess.
Yeah,
just like anybody else. And there's plenty I liked about the 80s, but there's plenty that I roll my eyes at.
Oh yeah,
or can't watch. Yeah, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah,
we don't want to talk it out.
We don't want to talk it out. It's one of the rules. We try not to talk stuff out on the show.
Roy and I don't talk about anything before we go on the show.
No, we don't. And actually it works really well. And I remember the first time we started, you know, when we kind of reconnected and everything, and I started, you know, conversing with you, and you're like, well, don't talk it out. And I'm like, what? Like, well, you know, it's just that when you do interviews and you do shows, what happens is you get your mojo going and you get all intense and everything. And then what happens is when you come back to it for the second time, it's just kind of fall flat. And there is a truth to that. I mean, there's some things you have to talk about, but
it's like my Michael York story. It's you know, telling it five times on the show. It's like it's no good anymore. but you know, I've done enough interviews that I mean, it's going great. And then you on the microphone, and then you know, they've already told the story. And either they don't tell it as well as they did the first time, or they leave out details because they have it in their head because they just told the story. They think they're saying it again, and it's just never as good. Yeah, then the enthusiasm isn't there.
And a lot of times too, I mean, I would like to think that there's people that are watching the show that have not seen, you know, all the episodes we've done, which is kind of crazy. I stopped to think that this is like, now I'm saying episode 190. It may be off by, you know, a few. But for all intents and purposes, it's in that range. So that's a lot of shows.
Sometimes we had to postpone, or we or we did an A or a B. You know, is that 190A or 190B?
We got a little creative, but that, you know, it's all in fun. Randy's saying there are a couple of local radio personalities that say the same thing. Don't talk off the air. Don't talk off the air. Yeah,
it's something you learn very quickly if you ever do any interviews. Yeah.
And
examination. There you go. Life Force. Isn't that the film with Patrick Stewart?
I think it is, Ross. That joke is never going to end.
Yeah.
In fact, if I ever have the opportunity to have Patrick Stewart interviewed, that is going to be the first question I'm going to ask him about. Now, mind you, he has done all levels of Shakespeare, and of course, obviously, he's known for Captain Picard, and from Star Trek, and then he's also known for Picard from the series. But
he seems like he'd be game. Seems like he'd have a good time with it.
Yeah. Actually,
so, yeah.
I'm trying to think. I think I've only met him in person once. And
was he engaging? Yeah.
No, he was very, very nice. In fact, it was at a creation convention.
Yeah.
It was in 1980. What year was it? It was probably 88. And it was, my God, it was 35 years ago. God, that's crazy. It was up in, I think it was in Lancaster.
Did you say 35 years ago?
Yeah, it was 35 years ago. Star Trek: The Next Generation was in its second season, and he was. I think that's where it was at. It was one of the two cities in Pennsylvania. It was either Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. It may have been Scranton, Wilkes-Barre.
One of two cities in Pennsylvania. So you just said.
No.
Do you mean Philadelphia or Pittsburgh?
No. I mean that I'm thinking of. I think it was in Scranton or it was Wilkes-Barre. It was one of those two cities.
All right, I see what you mean. Yeah,
but
they're kind of like twin cities almost, right?
Yeah, but he was there,
in people's minds, they're near each other. Yeah,
right. And he was very, very personable, and he talked for an hour. You really weren't allowed to take photos, though. They were being clamping down on that and then he just said that he felt it was important to preserve things in the moment, and which is fine, whatever. But he, did signed autographs. In fact, I have this photo. In fact, he autographed it, and this was something that I had him sign at this event. And it's a picture that that's a painting that Lou actually drew. Lou Place, who's out there, and what happened was Lou and I had the photo taken, and we put that behind us, and then I had Patrick Stewart autograph it on the front. You probably see it. But,
yeah. So were they already charging for autographs at that point, or could you still get autographs?
No, they were charging.
They were already charging at that point.
They were charging, yeah.
So I remember back in the day, you never had to charge, pay for an autograph. Yeah.
And then I missed him. What happened was I was in New York City. This was in the 90s. I think it was in the early 90s. I don't remember the year exactly, but what happened was when was it? I can't remember when it was. Anyway, he went past the line because I was going to go see David Letterman, and I went to get a drink or something, and what happened was when I came back, I found out that he had just came out, and he was walking around, and he was saying hi to people, and people were snapping photos of him and everything, and I think he was even signing an autograph or whatever, and because he was in New York City, and I think it was because he was doing Scrooge.
Oh, okay.
So and I missed him. It was just a timing thing.
So you were kicking yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
You needed those chicken fingers.
Yeah, I needed those chicken fingers. I'll never live that down. Oh boy. What's this? John is saying Roy and Ross not talking it out. Proof that communication is not the key to a successful partnership. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, our relation is strictly physical.
And then Liz is saying, and Patrick Stewart advertises Yorkshire tea on TV here. It's a funny advert.
Okay.
Oh, that must be fun to watch.
Yorkshire tea. I wonder if it's on YouTube again. If we can call it up. Here in the States.
Brendan's saying he was also in Excalibur. Yes, he was.
Thanks, Brendan. Yeah, but I'm going to do Excalibur at some point.
Yeah,
that's
it's on
what
the
I would
list.
love to talk about. Yeah. Everybody in that movie, as I'm fond of saying, every time I go back to watch that movie, somebody else becomes famous because another one of the knights becomes famous. It's unbelievable the success ratio of people in that film.
When did that movie come out? That was like
81.
It was 81. Wow.
Yeah, but everybody in it, almost to a man. There might be one or two that didn't hit big, but they're all known now. Yeah.
That's something. 40 years. Jeez. I just heard Stewart narrate a 1992 documentary today titled "Inside the Mind of a Serial Killer." Lovely. Thanks for sharing, John. You're a breath of fresh air. You know, it's interesting though, and I'll piggyback off of that. And John, I'm just busting your chops. There was a TV movie that I remembered that Patrick Stewart was in, and maybe this I don't know, and it was probably around that time frame, and maybe this is even the movie you're talking about. And he's actually losing his mind, and I think he has dementia or Alzheimer's at some in this, and he's thinking that this is probably not the movie but that you're talking about, but he's thinking that there's like espionage going on around him, and there's like a covert operation, and then his family is trying to talk him down, saying that it's all in his mind. And I'm curious if anybody remembers that film. Randy is saying, so I used to go out on Fridays and stupid things to people and stupid things to people. Now that I am older, I stay home and listen to others say stupid things. Uh-oh.
There you go.
I know he's not talking about us. Yes, he was in Dune also.
And Life Force. And,
yeah. That was a Next Gen episode, and he plays a flute.
Yeah, he was in enough.
I'm not talking about the inner... what was it called? Inner Light. That was a beautiful episode too. The Inner Light.
Patrick Stewart was in enough stuff that by the time he was on Star Trek: The Next Generation, I knew who he was. He had been in enough movies that I totally knew him.
Yeah. Martin, is that the movie I was talking about? Safe House? That probably sounds right. And it was probably around 93, 94, I'm guessing. I think it was in that time frame. And Brennan's saying he remembers that movie. He said, not the name, though. It's all good. It's only an IMDb click away, I'm sure. And it looks like Colin sent us a clip. Colin, is there music? Oh. Is there music to that? I would almost play it, but I'm afraid we'll get kicked off of off the show.
We could end early.
Ross is like hoping, saying, click it.
I think now it's time to play Peter Gunroy.
That was a lot of, that was over a year ago, Ross. We did that in March last year. That is actually 13 months ago that we did our episode, which was
movie theme episode.
And TV themes. I cannot
believe that. That was a fun show. It was just so ballsy. He just kept getting knocked off, and we kept coming back. Knock us off again. Then you posted it like 8 parts, and like one of them would disappear, and there'd be no music. You know what I mean? It was just,
No, that was a lot of fun. I mean, and it's a shame too, because I mean, we're not trying to do anything. We're just sharing the music and just it's out there. But it was pretty good.
We just kept going though, like Thelma and Louise, Roy.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's Roy and Ross, or Ross and Roy. It's R and R. There you go. It's R and R. Oh boy. So
the algorithm didn't like us that night.
No, definitely not.
We fought the law, and the law won. Yeah.
we can look into doing something like that again, but but if we do it, we're only going to do it on Facebook. We won't chance it.
All right.
But
we're outlaws.
He was in some Masterpiece Theater thing playing a Roman soldier with hair.
Yeah, there you go.
You know who he was friends with, incidentally? He was actually very good friends with Brian Blessed. Oh. I thought that was interesting because they grew up together. And yeah, Brian Blessed was like interviewed, and he talked about knowing Patrick Stewart when he was like a teenager. I mean, I thought that was really cool.
When he was Brian Blessed was ever a teenager?
I know, right?
Maybe Patrick Stewart was just a teenager. Yeah,
both of them, because they're very close. They're around the same age. They, like I said, they definitely grew up together. I think Brian Blessed probably a little older than Patrick Stewart. I mean, Patrick Stewart is 82. I'm guessing Brian Blessed's probably about maybe 84, 85.
Could you imagine like a teenage Brian Blessed? Maybe they can use digital technology to de-age him. And they could do like a Voltron prequel to the Flash Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, he's
live.
He's something.
Yeah.
You know, Liz, I forgot that you said this. Brian Blessed was also a lifelong friend of Tony Anhalt, and I remember you saying that. And it's funny too. Incidentally, you know, they did not share a scene in the Metamorph, the opener of 1999. But it's interesting. But I remember you had said that. Yeah, I wish I had gotten to meet him. I mean, I was fortunate to interview his son when Warren did the Space 1999 virtual convention last year, and he had some really good guests on there. And Christian was really a nice guy, and very sad that Tony Anhalt passed. He was only 61 years ago, 61 years of age, and literally it was over 20 years ago that he passed.
Claudius. Patrick Stewart, was he in I, Claudius? Because everybody else was. I didn't remember him being in it.
I think he was, yeah.
Oh, was he? Because I remember Brian Blessed, and I remember.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm confusing. No, Brian Blessed was. I don't know if Patrick Stewart was. Yeah,
and, you know, Derek Jacobi and you know, everybody was in that. But I don't remember Patrick Stewart being in it.
Yeah, a lot of talent. No, it says Patrick Stewart as Sejanus, 1976. I, Claudius.
He was in it. All right. Yeah. I got to go back.
Yeah.
Got to go back and check that out.
And that would have been right around the time of 1999. Yep. And Martin's confirming. Yep. Yeah. It just, yeah. And I was almost going to say something and I can't say it. So anyway, I'll bite my tongue. But anyway, yeah, this is a fun movie. I mean, if you're in for the Bond connections and you're also into the other connections of the other films that it's referencing, I mean, it's fun. It's a little over the top in some ways, but it's definitely a tribute to the 60s, you know, the swinging 60s. And even Michael York in the beginning when he's contacting Austin on the video communicator in Austin's car, he's got like, you know, the shaggy wig going on, and he's even saying about it, you know, that Dr. Evil's headed for, you know, like you were saying, to the Pussycat lair, and he, you know, in the swinging, you know, swinging city of London, you know, he's trying to be all hip and everything. But it was a lot of fun. Hey, Sean, thanks for being out there and joining us tonight. Sean saying Stewart was in I, Claudius, as a Roman general who tried to overthrow the emperor. His family was brutally executed. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm overdue to go back and watch it.
I think that would be a lot of fun to, you know.
I started to watch it a year or two ago, but it was not a good print. You know, I wonder if they must have remastered it that I can watch it, because the copy I had that was streaming free online was not a very good print of it.
I wonder if it's available on Prime. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Do you remember watching and this is while we were growing up, I remember in the 70s, I think it was on I want to say it was Sunday nights, but I seem to have a recollection because we would come back from my grandparents, because it was almost like almost like a ritual. Every Sunday we would drive into Astoria, Queens, because my grandparents were only like 45 minutes away from the part of New Jersey that we lived in. And I always think of All in the Family, because especially with the opening and the homes and everything and the bunkers. But when we would come back, I seem to remember my parents would watch Sonny and Cher. The Sonny and Cher show was on. And then I seem to remember Henry VIII being on. And
I remember those. Yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah. I wasn't, I remember when it was on, but I don't remember. I don't have vivid memories of the show, but that was, were we in seventh grade or something when that was on?
I thought it was earlier. I was going to guess and say it was probably 72, 73, 74 without looking it up.
I mean, really that early?
I think it was, but curious if anybody ever watched that out there. You know, what was it? The eight wives of Henry what was the title?
6 wives.
6 wives. How many wives did he have?
I don't know.
Something Lives or Wives of Henry VIII, if anybody remembers that.
Private Life of Henry VIII is the one I remember with Charles Lawton.
Isn't that funny, Ross? We've gone from
6 wives, I think, right?
We've gone from Austin Powers to Henry VIII.
Yeah, 6 wives. Yeah. But I mean, I think I remember the series you're talking about. I think David Monroe did the music for it, but I don't remember the shows themselves because they were on. We were young, you know.
Yeah, Liz is saying 6 wives.
There you go. For those of you keeping track.
Yeah. just don't. I'm trying to guess what year that came out, and I don't recall.
I don't remember the name of the series.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was definitely in this. I'm pretty sure it was like the early 70s, but
I encountered the soundtrack album on CD at some point. That's why, I know the music, but yeah, I never watched the show, from what I recall.
Six Wives of Henry VIII, 1970. Yeah.
Okay.
Six episode dramatization of Henry VIII's relationships with each of his six wives. Yeah, I knew it was a long time ago. I didn't realize it was that far back, though. Was
it David Monroe who did the music? What are you looking at? Wikipedia?
Yeah, I was looking at that, and
I'll look it up later. It's not important.
No, well, and actually, it doesn't give a listing for the music.
What?
What? How?
Yeah, he was an early music guy, so he probably just took music from the period.
Okay.
So
interesting enough, though, Jane Seymour. It says Jane Seymour was
right.
Is mentioned. Interesting.
They were like, we're turning into. I don't like looking stuff up while we're on the show.
No, I don't either. But since it's
it's not a thing that we do.
No, it's not
on the show.
But it's not. It's But it wasn't about this movie. It was something.
All right. Oh, okay. So we'll just, we just give it up, folks. This is our bridge fourth season. This is it. Yeah.
Rationalization is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Martin is saying 75-ish. I don't know. Anyway, you know what? I'll post about it later. We'll circle back, and we will say who the composer was too.
Oh no, you're thinking of
Richard Benjamin.
No, the other guy who was the jazz trombonist who was on Mork and Mindy, who played Mindy's dad, who just died last year.
Oh, right. Yeah. I can't think.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
At least I think that's.
Martin is saying James. Yeah, no, I did catch that. That Jane Seymour was actually a wife of Henry VIII, which is kind of interesting.
You know what I'm talking about, man.
I know who you're talking about, and I can't think of the actor's name. It's on the tip of my tongue, and don't look it up.
For the. I hope it's just because I'm tired.
I know my brain.
Conrad Janis.
Thank
Conrad
you.
Janis.
That would have driven.
I wonder if that's who they're thinking of. I don't know, boy.
Probably.
I don't know.
Well,
this is the worst episode ever.
It was our kickoff episode.
That was our good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
So with that said, music, Ross. Let's go to the music.
George S. Clinton. Okay.
Here we go.
George baby. Yeah, baby. He was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee, George Clinton, and he was a double major in drama and music. Went to LA, got a job as a staff musician at Warner Brothers Records, Warner Brothers Music. So he was an arranger, a performer, and a recording artist. He had his own band, the George Clinton Band, but he also played for, a session musician on other people's albums. But he was heard by a producer, his band, while he was playing with his band, and he said, "Well, why don't you come and score our film?" And the film was Cheech and Chong's "Still Smokin'."
Oh wow! Wow!
This is supposedly his first film score, and later on he went on to do Cheech and Chong's "The Corsican Brothers," which I actually saw in the theater. But he's also known for the Austin Powers movies. He did Mortal Kombat. He did a lot of stuff. He did the there was a series on Showtime called The Red Shoe Diaries. He did the music for that. He was former chair of film scoring at the film scoring department at Berklee College of Music in Boston. So I found out all this stuff about him. But then I dug a little deeper. I went to his IMDb listings and I was looking because supposedly the Cheech and Chong was his first film credit. And I'm scrolling down and I see, wait a minute, 1970, he scored the John Waters movie, Multiple Maniacs.
Oh, jeez.
Which is the film that infamously has Divine raped by a giant lobster.
Oh my God. We're hitting an all-time low tonight, Ross.
John Waters, the man who brought you Hairspray and Pink Flamingos.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who Divine is, right? You know.
Yes.
Yes. So they're back when John Waters was making his independent movies in Baltimore. George S. Clinton scored that movie in 1970.
Wow.
Multiple Maniacs. And here he is with Austin Powers. Came a long way. Come a long way, baby.
Oh boy. Thanks, Ross.
Once you see Multiple Maniacs, you don't forget it. And that may not be the most offensive scene in the movie.
Oh, shoot.
I don't know. Maybe now I wouldn't find it so funny, but back then it was just outrageous enough.
Yeah.
To keep me watching.
John Waters, though. Wow.
Yeah. I used to watch all of his things back in the day. They were a little nauseating sometimes, but they were fun.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Midnight movies is what they are. You know, you never went up to see Pink Flamingos with us in Allentown at midnight?
No. What did you know? The first midnight movie I saw up there, believe it or not, was Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror, sure.
I saw that.
Was I with you with probably not. We went up to see it at midnight up there too.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember.
That's the night I smoked the cigar in the theater, and they yelled at me.
You know what? I honestly, Ross, I actually may have gone with you in that movie. It seems familiar. You know, I'm not sure. I have some recollections of, you know, I mean, it could have been an ex-girlfriend that I could have been with.
They brought some guy into the theater on a motorcycle. He was because he was Eddie.
Okay. Yeah. No, I would have remembered that. No, but I think when I saw the Rocky Horror, I think it was later than '83. I think it was because they were doing that for a while, weren't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
yeah, that went on for a long time into the '80s.
Yeah,
so
some places it might still be going on.
Yeah, I mean, and it just kind of eventually died off. But that was a big thing to do. The midnight movies. Yeah. I do recall going one of the films I saw, though. I think one of the last ones, or you know, at least in the '80s, would have been Batman, the one that came out in '89.
Well, that's not a midnight movie. They just showed it at midnight.
Right, exactly.
You know, because they would start showing these things. Did you see it the night before it opened or something? Is that what it was? Or
yeah, and what happened was that's exactly what it was. They were so overbooked that they actually created another showing for it, and they showed it at 2:00 in the morning. And I wound up going to that showing, and that was with Joe. And we saw that. And then the worst part of it was, and I may have told this story already too, talking about repeating stories, was that got out at 4:00. I had to work, and that was a Friday night going into Saturday. I was working in the Saturday morning. I had to work 8 to 12. And then a bunch of us were going into the city, and we were going to go see Les Miserables. And Saturday night. So here I'm going to go see a Broadway show with no sleep, doing all that traveling, and I was toast. It was terrible because what happened was my energy level, and if I'm tired, doesn't matter. If I'm tired, I can fall asleep anywhere, and I was deaf during the play. It was.
So you didn't glide through on your youthful energy.
I did not.
I did not, Ross. Well, what made you stay for the 2:00 show for Batman? The movie stunk. I remember I went to see Batman, and I said, you know, I think I went with I said to my girlfriend at the time, I said, oh no, maybe I said to Paul. I don't remember. We went with a group there, and I said, you know, if this movie stinks, it's going to be a riot of one. He's there in the back of the theater rioting at the end by myself.
And it's crazy too because you know, at that time, I mean, the Batman with television series with Adam West was it had only been off the air for like 21 years. I mean, you know, which is nothing now, you know what I mean? And everybody was wondering, Adam West was doing the convention appearances. Vince and I saw him up in fact, it was the same event that I met Lou who's out there, because it was in January of 88. In fact, Marina Sirtis from Star Trek: The Next Generation was at the event. It was an event. I think it was in Connecticut. Marina was there, and also Adam West. And the first season of Next Gen was just about done. I mean, literally in the first season, Adam West was talking about the whole thing with the new Batman movie, and how he wasn't in it and everything. It's I don't know. It's crazy. It's 35 years ago though. But
anyway. We were only in our 20s at the time, so
yeah, it was 22.
But see, that's an example. Like when they started doing stuff like you could see the movie at midnight before the midnight of the day it would open, kind of thing. That's the man ruined the midnight movies there. The corporate, they took over. You couldn't see Attack of the Killer Tomatoes anymore, or Rocky Horror, or Pink Flamingos, or Night of the Living Dead, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was all like, now it would be what? Star Wars,
right.
Disney stuff.
Brennan is saying Keaton and Nicholson turned out to be great stunt casting. Everyone was curious and wanted to see it for them. No, I think Jack Nicholson did an incredible job. And as far as I know, too, in regards to contract, you hear things, you don't know what's, fact or fiction. But supposedly, he did well with negotiating, and he made a lot of money off of that film. So, good for him. But I thought he was really good. And Michael Keaton, I remember when they announced he was going to be doing Batman, and everybody was going crazy. He was like, Michael Keaton is Batman? Are you kidding me? And, to give him credit, I think he definitely pulled it off. I think he did it a lot better than I thought he was going to do. I just couldn't see it. But we grew up with, and that was like a parody, but still, that's what we grew up with. To me, Adam West will always be, the Batman. There's been so many incarnations, and, you hear about, it was intended to be dark, they call him the Dark Knight and everything. That in itself could be a show that we could go off on a tangent on. We tried to do Batman the one time, and unfortunately that was just a rough
it was night. A bomb. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff going on, not feeling well. And then, Scott, my parents' cat Scotty and everything.
Right.
Vince was on with us, and that was, Vince hasn't been on. So anyway.
But the show wasn't meant to reflect, the comic necessarily. It was, supposed to be like a pop art kind of show,
exactly,
taking a comic book view of things.
Right.
It wasn't, necessarily reflective of the Dark Knight,
But
there were periods in Batman that got like that, though. Batman started, kind of, there was like kind of a bubblegum period for Batman before he darkened up again.
That's true. But growing up, though, to be honest with you, I probably was into Batman before I was into, I think, Star Trek. It was right around this. It was because, again, Channel 11. They were running these shows. It was on after school and everything. And I remember watching it. I remember watching that with my, my dad, Batman. He really wasn't into Star Trek, but.
It's 9:30 almost.
Yeah, you know what? And I was saying, so let's. Ross is reminding me. So yeah, the time when we start digressing, we start going quick.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway,
I just think they really needed the Prince songs on the Batman movie. That's all I know.
Yeah, there you go. But,
really needed it. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to go to the shout outs, folks. If you have any last minute comments you want to talk about, please post them out. Colin's saying it's only 9:30. Lots of laughs.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Country Gate Players. Now, Country Gate is in Belvedere, New Jersey. Folks have heard me talk about this theater many, many times. And they are actually opening their season up this weekend. So if you are in the Belvedere, New Jersey area and you have a love for theater, definitely check them out. And the cast and crew have been working very hard on this. And Bill's not out there tonight because they're at Tech Week. They've been in preparation. So for information about Country Gate's information for the upcoming year, you can go to their website, which is www.countrygate.org. Also, you can visit Bill's website, which is www.billscorrado.com. And they are going to be opening the season with Sylvia, and it's a play by A.R. Gurney. And the dates are this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time and Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. They are going to be having the show for 2 weekends. So it will be carrying over to next weekend, which is the 29th and the 30th as well. And again, it'll be the same times, 8 p.m. on Saturday and 2 p.m. on Sunday. I also want to give a shout out to Mike and Mary Beth of Sci-Fi Distilled. They are on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. They cover movies and television shows of the 80s, 90s, and beyond. And they will be back this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. to discuss the 1980 film, The Final Countdown. So definitely check out Mike and Mary Beth. They are on Sci-Fi Distilled. And again, that is this Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And Captain Phil's Planet. Captain Phil is on WUSB 90.1 FM, Stony Brook, New York. The captain's schedule is on alternating Thursdays from 3 to 5 p.m. He is also on Friday nights from 9 to 11 p.m. The captain actually was gracious enough to have Warren on and myself yesterday, and we were talking about Space 1999 convention that's going to be taking place in Calgary, which will be next week. So thank you again to the captain for having us on, Captain Phil. But you can definitely check out and listen to him when you have a chance, and his schedule is listed and posted. Also, I want to give a shout out to Studio One Thrift, and this is to the owners, Snow and Martha. They showcase their lineup for all seasons, all year long. They have quality, stylish, affordable clothing that you can purchase online for men as well as women. And you can also receive styling tips. Now, they actually just did a show that was almost like a fashion show that was last Saturday, and it was up in the Poconos. And this was the first one. So to stay tuned in regards to information that is posted on their website, it is www.studioonethrift.net. And they actually are coming up on their 1-year anniversary. So again, if you have the opportunity, if you're looking for merchandise, they do ship throughout the country. Definitely check out their website, and you will see updates if you subscribe to their website. And Ross, if you can let everybody know what you've got going on this weekend.
All right. These are the two shows I've got on WWFM, the Classical Network. Picture Perfect's the movie music show, and The Lost Chord is unusual and neglected repertoire classical music. Now, this weekend marks the anniversary of the birth of William Shakespeare. We don't know exactly when he was born, but he died on April 23rd, 1616, and he was baptized just a few days after that. So I think everybody tries to put it on the day he died. So, April 23rd is the day people observe Shakespeare's birthday. So it's all Shakespeare this weekend. Picture Perfect, I've got dueling Henry V's. I've got music from William Walton's classic film score with the one he did for Laurence Olivier. And then I've got Patrick Doyle's music for the Kenneth Branagh version from 1989, I believe. We were just talking about 89. Yeah. And in between, I've got Olivier himself kind of declaiming some of the famous speeches from Henry V. So that's Dueling Henrys on Picture Perfect tomorrow night at 6. On The Lost Chord, that's all Shakespeare as well. I've got a couple of musical works inspired by A Midsummer Night's Dream by English composer Walter Lee and by Italian-born composer Mario Castelnuovo Tedesco, who wound up settling in L.A. He worked as a film composer for a time, and he became a teacher. He taught Andre Previn, Jerry Goldsmith, John Williams, Henry Mancini, Neil Hefti, a bunch of people that we know. But anyway, his Midsummer Night's Dream will also be featured, Castelnuovo Tedesco. And then finally, I've got a piece by a Czech composer by the name of Josef Bohuslav Forster. And it's a half-hour suite of his called From Shakespeare. And each of the movements is based on characters from the plays. So that's Picture Perfect tomorrow night at 6, The Lost Chord Sunday night at 10. That program's called Great Shakes, by the way. And if you missed the shows while they're, times listed, you can hear them as webcasts at wwfm.org. And I'll write more about them and tease them on my Facebook page on the respective days at Classic Ross Amico. Thanks, Roy.
No, thanks, Ross. Very cool. Wow, Shakespeare. That's pretty intense about his birthday coming up, too.
It's intense, just like when my birthday comes up.
Hey, birthdays are special.
Yeah.
Now, in regards to event, I just want to give the event update for everybody. So Space 1999 Calgary 1999 convention is going to be taking place next week. The dates for that are April 28th to May 1st. So If you are interested in the convention, you can go to the website, which is a Facebook page website, and it's under Space 1999 50th Anniversary Celebration, and check that out. And then if you're interested in booking rooms, or if you need information regarding to that, it's Destination Moonbase Alpha at yahoo.com. Again, the dates are April 28th to May 1st. The guests are going to be Mr. Nick Tate, aka Alan Carter, and then also Yasuko Nakazumi is going to be there, and she was Yasuko in the second series of Space 1999. So we're very happy to have them joining us, and that will be, again, it's creeping up. It's next week already, which is crazy. Quick update too regarding Trek Long Island. If you're interested, there's going to be a lot of guests taking place that are going to be there from the original series all the way up. And for information, there's so many people that are going to be guests that are going to be there. Just go to the website. It's www.treklongisland.com. This is going to be a huge event. This is going to be really the first mega event in Long Island that is Star Trek related. I'm not sure if Dave is out there still, Dave Rash, but Dave is actually going to be at the event. And I'm very fortunate that I'm going to be doing an interview with him in regards to the Outer Limits. And also Dominic Stefano is going to be joining us through Zoom. So we're very excited about that. And also we will also have some guests that were in episodes that are going to be there. So definitely, if you have the opportunity, definitely check out Trek Long Island. Steph, Edwin, Rachel have been, putting a lot into this event, and it's really going to be something else. And we're going to be doing some updates before it takes place too. So definitely stay tuned in regards to that. Also, Wonderfest is coming, and this is in June. And I know Sean is out there. Wonderfest is taking place in Kentucky. This is a huge annual event that takes place. It's going to be for the dates of June 10th and 11th. It's also Saturday and Sunday. Nick is also going to be there, Nick Tate. So again, this is actually talking about Star Wars earlier. This is the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, which is crazy if you can believe that. And that's going to be the theme. There's also going to be a huge theme in regards to Space 1999. You're going to see a lot of Eagles on display there as well, too. So in regards to the website for Wonderfest, you can go to www.wonderfest.com to check out the information in regards to it. And then lastly, just a couple more things. The Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner t-shirts are going to probably go into the end of April, and then I'm sending them out. So if you still are interested, just let me know. I was kind of holding off. I wanted to try to do this sooner than later. So the orders will be, I'm going to close it out at the end of the month, which will be April 30th. So if you are interested, just send me a PM, and that will include shipping within the US. It's $35. Just trying to do all these at once. So just let me know if you are interested. And squeaker is not included.
Do they have to specify what color?
Yeah, what color, which shirt you would, which design you would like, and then also your size. So just send me a PM, and we will get the order out to you then. And then what I want to do is in May, once everybody's gotten their shirts, I'm going to take the photos from previous folks that have gotten the shirts and folks that have gotten the shirts this time around, and I'm going to put a collage together just to have it presented. And I think that'll be really cool just to see everybody, wearing them. So your support of the show is greatly appreciated. Lastly, just a quick shout out. If you've not seen Star Trek Picard season 3, again, for me, it's all nostalgia based. That is the driving force in regards to this. So if you're into nostalgia, I would say definitely check it out. But I will leave, your interpretation open to, your opinions about it. But again, just want to make you aware that the 10th episode just dropped. The final episode of the series just dropped this past Wednesday night. Well, actually Wednesday night to Thursday morning. And for next week, since I'm going to be in Calgary, we are going to be postponing the official show that Ross and I do. However, throughout the week of next week, which is going to be April 26th through April 29th, I will be doing updates on the show's page and doing videos up there. So not sure how long they will be, but we'll be taking lots of photos and posting the pictures. and then also hopefully maybe do, you know, some maybe short interviews in there as well. I can't guarantee what we'll exactly be doing or what time it will be, but information will be posted just so that you know. And there we have it, Ross. That was our
there you go.
Our kickoff there for the 4th season.
Yep. It was like Austin Powers with a withered tail.
That's all good. And actually, I'm seeing a lot of I'm seeing comments that have come through in there. And thanks, Linda, for that. And different folks giving their well wishes and just like I said, I'm just
into the breach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Alien Day. There you go.
Yep. And like I was saying earlier, Kirk Thatcher and Darren Dockerman will be at Wonderfest along with Nick Tate. Yeah, thanks for posting that too, Sean. Appreciate that. And yeah, Squeaker made the photo. Oh, thanks, Randy. I'll just I'll PM me later, and then I'll talk to you about that. And thanks everybody. Thanks Dennis and everyone. And yeah, so we're gonna close out with that. I was trying to close it at 9:30 because I really don't want to go past 9:30 because I know it gets late for everybody, and that's where we're at. So we're under 2 hours at least because we started at 9:45.
No, we are under 2 hours. Yeah, well, 9:40. Yeah, well, I was here.
7:45. Well,
I was.
Ross was there at 7:29. So yeah.
We're gonna have to start handing out coffees before these shows. I'm getting too old for this.
Colin just said it's 2:40 in the morning.
Oh man, I feel so sorry for you people.
Thank you so much, Colin, and thank you, Liz, too. I mean, you both. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Night owls.
No, and thanks so much. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. And as always, live long and prosper. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, wonderful week. We'll keep you posted and, you know, included on everything that's going on in Calgary. We hope to see some folks up there. And for the folks that don't make it, you know, we'll stay connected. All righty. Take care, everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.